Hey everyone, Christian here, and as you can see, I've already made a mess. I did a first take of this video, and I broke some fruit off of some of the seeds, and I messed up, and so the seeds already broken out of their husks. So hopefully, this might be a little bit easier to do. Here I have an array of three, six, 8 species of palm seed, and they come from different parts of the world. So let's discuss the different types of seed and where they come from. So we have Dictyosperma album, native to islands in the Indian Ocean. Carpentaria acuminata, native to northern Australia, or I should say North Queensland, but in the north of Australia. Tygosperma schaeferi, which is native to Southeast Asia. And these all grow in tropical climates. That doesn't really ever get that cold there, maybe into the 50s, but that's it, maybe upper 40s. That's about it. Then we have this, and this is kind of a separation here. We'll just pretend like that penny is like a separator of sorts. So here we have Sable bermudana, native to Bermuda. Sable minor, the Cherokee form, native to northeastern Alabama. Rhipidophyllum hystrix, the needle palm. Livistona alfredii, the millstream fan palm, native to northern Australia. By the way, this is native to southeast U.S. And then, we got the Alabama. And then here we have, this is an old seed. It's from last year, but it's the only one. I don't have any fresh seeds, so it's still hanging in there. It's intact. That's Adelaia speciosa. That's native to Brazil. So you can see how large that seed is compared to the others. It's probably as big as every single other seed I have here combined. And that's actually that's a decent sized seed right there. So let's start with these here. These three here all come from fairly tropical climates. You can see that they are not round in shape. Two of the three kind of have a hairy coating on the exocarp of the seed, which is just the outer shell. And they just kind of have a point on one side here. I'm trying to get this in focus. My gnarly hands. And then you see that point, and then here it's a blunter tip. And on this here, that's the blunt end. This is the pointy end, and as you can pretty much see that in the Tygosperma, right there. So what does that mean about the seed? So with these pointy tip seeds that are elliptical or ovoid in shape, it almost always means that they're going to be a remote germinator. Usually these are from crown shafted palms. Actually, all three of these are crown shafted, and they'll hang out, and the pointy tip will be hanging outward from the fruit. This will be the part that my index finger there is touching, will be the part that is attached to the actual bract, and the same will go for the other two, and they will almost always be adjacent germinators. These seed. In fact, I don't know many seeds of this shape that are remote germinators. There's a few. So basically, these are more old world seed, except for, Australia is not really considered old or new world. In fact, I don't really know what it's. I guess it's considered new world technically, but it's a little bit of an anomaly as far as geographically speaking. So these are all going to be adjacent germinators, more tropical requirements in their cultivation. So if we go over to the other seed here, they're a little bit, in general, they're going to be a little bit more round. Now I know that that's pointy right there, and that's true. The outer husk there is pointy, but I broke open the outer husk here, and you can see that it doesn't really have a point to either side. That's pretty blunt right there. And then that's also pretty blunt. It's more of just it's a rounded out version, or a flattened out version of a spherical seed. So that's the husk on them there. They're actually laid out to dry, and you can tell when they're dry because the outer husk will separate. You can see where it's cracked, and then you can just kind of crack them you can kind of roll them. So I actually took my hand, pushed down, cracked one of these here. So we have here, like I said, here we have the Sable bermudana from Bermuda. Yeah, I think I went through that already. Sable minor Cherokee, the needle, Livistona alfredii, and Adelaia speciosa. So what these all have in common is they are all going to be remote germinators. Now, as you can see, they're a little bit more circular in size. This is more of a donut shape. The sable miter is a little more spherical. As the needle is, it's not round, but it doesn't have those pointy ends. The Livistone alfredii is almost nearly spherical. So you can see that's the dried fruit. I cracked it open, and then you can see it has almost like a marble. It's a very nice seed. It's of a good size, and it just has a good color about it. And then the Adelaia speciosa, which is actually not going to be related to these because these are all palmate palms, and these large seed palms that you'll find, like, see, this is the size of, like, I can grab it like a fistful. They will be both palmate and pinnate palms, but they will all be remote germinators. I don't know of any large seeds say larger than these Livistonas. If they're larger than that, then they're almost always going to be remote germinators. You'll find big Syagra seed. In fact, I should have brought out my Syagra Sancona seed. But these will have, Syagras and Adelaia are closely related. These actually have 3 eyes in them, and this one actually germinated. You can see where the root kind of came out there. It's kind of hard to see, but it actually looks pretty rugged looking now that I see it. But this is actually an unclean seed. This is actually fruit. It's waxy. It doesn't smell. But these are going to be all palmate. These smaller remote germinators. They're all going to be remote germinators. Is really what I'm trying to get at. You want to give them a little bit more room in the community pot, unless you don't mind separating them if you have them all like thrown in a big pile, which can be a real pain because you can separate them and still break the roots and they die. But basically, these circular seeds, these spherical little ovoid, non-pointed seed are going to be, in smaller size, are going to be all remote germinators. I don't know of many seeds this size and this shape that are not remote germinators. They're gonna have more of this shape to them. So the speciosa, all Adelaias are going to be of a larger size. Some are really a little bit smaller, like a quarter the size of this, but some are actually bigger than this. It's one of the biggest Adelaias, and so yeah, the everything in that subfamily is going to be remote germinators. So you're talking about Syagris, Butea, Jubea. They all are going to put down a root and then form a bulb and then shoot up their first leaflet, and they're all going to be strapped leaf. Where sometimes, which means just like one strap, where the adjacent germinators, these are all going to put up a bifid leaf, so it's going to have to be forked, essentially, and eventually go pinnate over time. So these are all pinnate leaved, crown shafted palms. These are all palmate, there are no palmate crown shafted palms. So these are palmate non-crown shafted palms, and this is a pinnate non-crown shafted palm. But other big seeds like this, like Borassus, they don't have a point to them, and that's a palmate palm. They're also remote germinators, but they're when it comes to the big seed, you kind of have to know which one's going to be remote, which is going to be palmate, which is going to be pinnate. But they will all be remote germinators, all the big seeded palms. So I hope that kind of helps when you get a seed to kind of get an idea of, is it going to have a deeper remote germinators are going to have deeper roots at first, like Copernicias, and you want to give them a little more room in the soil. Adjacent germinators, you can actually you can literally coat the top of a pot with them, and when they start to put up a spike, their first spike when their first leaf comes up, which is going to be bifid, you can actually take tweezers and pluck them out of the right out of the soil, and then just keep on going with that. That's how I do it when I have a ton of them and I need to kind of just have them all on a mat at once. So anyway, I hope that is a little bit a little helpful when you guys get seed, either whether it be from me or from somewhere else. You pick it off of the ground, and you want to know how to germinate it. These tend to require a little bit more heat. These tend not to require as much heat, but still require heat. So this is more like the 80 to 90 Fahrenheit. This is more like 90 to 100 will get them to pop Fahrenheit. So you're looking at like 25 to 30 Celsius and 30 Celsius to 40 Celsius ish. You know, I mean, 40 Celsius, obviously more than 100 degrees, but it always helps. So anyway, I wanted to, I hope that was a helpful little demonstration of what the shape of your seed will tell you about how it's going to germinate and where it's from, what the new leaf will look like, and how to properly plant them when you do or get them. So one last thing, you can see obviously if this had a outer fruit to it, which actually had multiple outer shells. This is the fruit on the edge. Inside is an inner shell, which is kind of thin, like the inside of a peanut. And if you can break it with your hand power, like just using your hands like a jaw, then it should come off. If you can't do that, then don't. Like obviously, I'm not going to sit here and try and roll this thing out and break off the fruit, because it really doesn't come off. You just kind of grow these with the quote waxy outer covering, which is the fruit attached. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that was a helpful, like I said, a helpful demonstration. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel and want to see more palm related videos, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any questions about seed germination based on seed size, like other seed sizes you may not have seen here, or seed shapes or sizes, you can leave them down below and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. And I hope everyone has a good weekend.